We are entering our very final stretch now. The end is in sight. And indeed with it, our final award for the evening, the prestigious Outvertising Brand of the Year trophy. But as I said from the start, tonight isn't just about giving out awards, it's also about learning from the process. We've learned from the creatives, we've learned from the community, we're learning from the winners, and now finally we're going to learn from the judges. So yes, we challenged just a couple of the judges who you've seen tonight to tell us what they themselves learned from judging the awards, the changes they've seen, the challenges that have been faced, and what we could all learn from them.
So what I learned from being a judge was just the fact there's some amazing work out there, some really inspirational work that's pushing the boundaries and showing really clearly that there's a great way to include and represent the LGBT community in advertising. And some great work that I think role models so much that advertisers need to learn from today.
I really enjoyed being a judge this year. I really enjoyed the experience of immersing myself in all the entries. It really helped me learn what was authentic, what were authentic entries, to what felt a little bolt on. So that was a really great experience to immerse myself in all the entries.
I learned from being a judge at this year's Outvertising Awards really how far and how fast the sort of creative community is moving in terms of how it integrates LGBTQ role models into advertising. We saw some fantastic work, and having been involved for the last 3 years, I've seen a real step change each year in the quality of the work and the breadth of the work that's submitted. And most importantly of all, I think in actually the work that runs, we've seen a real step change.
So my learnings as a judge really were twofold. The first of which is the great work that shows that there is brilliant work out there that's doing a great job representing the LGBT+ community, but also the judging experience. It was great to hear from others, to interact with others, to challenge each other's views, and to reach the point where we were unanimous in picking some amazing winners.
What did I learn? You can't really just put up a rainbow logo on your brand. It needs to be cleverly incorporated to feel more authentic, and it needs to be backed up by action. You can make a great advert, but if you're not actually donating money for charities or marching in pride or doing something active, then it doesn't feel as authentic as for an advert.
My key learning is how far and how fast the progress is that the industry is making in terms of portrayal and role models in advertising. And we've seen a real step change this year over the previous years.
So the highlight for me really has been not just the great work, but also the experience of being a judge, interacting with the other judges, and hearing lots of different perspectives, lots of passion, lots of enthusiasm for the work, but also an exchange of different views on what makes great work, and work that I think and we felt really represents the LGBT+ community positively today. So it's been a great experience. It's been all about pushing boundaries, all about getting great work out there that makes a real difference and properly represents the fantastic LGBT community.
What were the highlights? Well, the highlights for me were lots of great entries, trans and non-binary entries, so I'm particularly happy to see that. I could see my face coming back at me in some of those adverts.
The highlights for me were actually in the judging the work that has actually run. So seeing work from major brands and then arguing that with the jury about what were the winners. And there's always that fantastic process, I think, of challenging each other and seeing how, in a sense, the initial voting changes through discussion and debate. And I think we had a really worthy group of winners coming out of the process. So I'm really, really pleased with where we got to with the judging.
So the real change that I've seen in advertising in this space over the last couple of years has been a move away from what I'd call tick boxing, where it felt like perhaps members of all sorts of communities were included just to be there, but weren't an integral part of the storyline. Whereas now in the work I'm seeing through the Outvertising Awards is genuine, heartfelt, fantastic work where LGBT+ characters are central to the story. They're part of the narrative, and their story is well told, well represented, and it is absolutely fantastic work that I think we as a community should be proud of.
The changes I've seen in the D&I space this year have been amazing. As I say, we're getting the right representations in adverts now. A couple of years ago, they weren't really representative of the trans and non-binary, more glamour and fetish and and now we're really just seeing trans and non-binary people going around their day jobs and having fun, and I think that's really, really good.
I think we've seen incredible progress in the D&I space in advertising, but like all these things, the further you go, the further you realise you still have to go. So I think the impatience for change and in a sense the urgency around change, I think, is increasing year on year. So although we've seen great change, I think we're all very much aware that we have much more to do.